What's up, Fox? Down Fox here. Today I'm giving you my unadulterated thoughts about the Dell XPS 13 Plus. You've seen me benchmark it. You've seen my unboxing and impressions, and you've seen my honeymoon phase. But unfortunately, that honeymoon phase was cut short by another laptop that caught my attention. Join the Fox Den Discord down below. And if you like my content, consider subscribing. Don't worry, I will keep giving you benchmarks on the Dell XPS 13 Plus because I can tell that y'all are interested in it. So don't you worry about it. It's just not going to be my forever laptop, and I'm going to tell you why. Let me get the girl. Now, don't get me wrong. There are things that you will get on this laptop that you can't get anywhere else. The non-existent trackpad is honestly one of the coolest things I've ever seen on a laptop, and I wish that Dell would do this for an XPS 15 model as well. The processors in this are meant for ultrabooks, and although this one throttles a bit because I got the full-on 1280p, it's not really bad at all. It's really solid. It's one of the best Intel chips I've ever seen, and if you're looking for a MacBook crusher at the expense of everything else, this is what you want to get. But there are just too many sacrifices on this machine that make it hard for me to suggest. Now, I know that there are going to be people in the comments saying, get the full HD 1920 by 1200 display. And if you are going to get an XPS 13 Plus, I agree. I think that the 4K OLED is something magical. I love it. And you will not see a screen on a 13-inch that looks better than this. It is incredible to look at, but just watching not even a 4K YouTube video, but a 1080p YouTube video lasted 6 hours and 15 minutes on battery life. This thing just does not last. If you spend most of your time plugged into a wall, for instance, if you're going to be using this for work and you're at a home office or something and you have a USB-C charger by you, don't worry about it. If you have a laptop battery bank, don't worry about it. It's just a matter of sacrifice for the sake of a beautiful screen. And personally for me, although I know some people are straight up deal breakers when it comes to the headphone jack, having two USB-C ports really isn't something to be unexpected in 2022. I'll be honest with you. I see more companies making this leap in the future. I would have liked more, and the XPS 15 does have more, but this right here is just the most compact machine, and I'm sure that machining more USB-C ports in this thing would have made it throttle even more. And these aren't just USB-C ports, by the way. They're both Thunderbolt 4. My apologies. Haptic touch bar. People hate touch bars on Macs, and I kind of like it. I'll be honest with you. I even like it on the Macs. This touch bar can get annoying sometimes until you learn it. Once I learned it, again, it's just a stylistic choice that makes this machine look phenomenal. I really love how this laptop looks. And I would go as far to say it's the best looking laptop I've ever seen. It even beats a MacBook. This thing is a compact device that looks absolutely beautiful. And I hope that one day I can return to Dell XPS and see this sort of beautiful form factor that's just an absolute MacBook killer, gets the best performance out of any machine you could possibly hope for, just with a longer battery life. Really and truly, the only reason why I'm switching laptops is because of the battery life. So if you don't care, you can end the video now. All I ask is don't dislike it. These are just my opinions, y'all. And I understand that you are probably a Dell XPS fan, and I see its merit. Again, if you want something that's the most powerful machine, there is no other machine like this. But when I was at Best Buy, something caught my eye, and I knew I had to have it. Coming in at a few $100s cheaper, what you're getting with the Samsung Book 2 Pro is 10.5 hours of battery life on the exact same test I ran on the Dell. 1080p AMOLED screen. Now, as I said, you will get 4 to 6 hours of battery life with the 4K OLED. So if you are going to buy this, buy the full HD. But this has a 1080p, same as you would get on this if you were logical and not crazy like me. But it's also AMOLED. It's an OLED display that looks absolutely fantastic. Just because it's got the lower resolution, you would need that on this as well. And I would stick with Dell if it were longer battery life, 1080p OLED display. There would be no issues whatsoever. A 13-inch does not need a 4K display, but dropping down to an LCD just makes it like a generic laptop you could get anywhere else. And Dell pulls an Apple and charges way more than any other brand for it. Where this one was $1,250, has a 1260p, which is configurable in the Dell. And honestly, I'd probably recommend instead of the 1280p, unless you're really going for performance killer, because I don't think you're going to get that much better performance when it comes to the 1280p versus the 1260p. This does have 2 more cores and 4 more threads, 2 more performance cores. And it does shred as good as possible, but this is only about 1,000 points less than Cinebench. It lasts longer. Intel Iris Xe graphics are exactly the same. And for the most part, CPU performance is on par. And it folds like this and is a touchscreen, which, to be fair, so is the Dell. And I'm not going to sit here pandering to the Samsung for too long, because I know that you likely just care about the Dell and my personal thoughts on it. In order to make this laptop something I would be comfortable using on a regular workday, it would have to last 6 hours watching YouTube and 8 hours on Google Docs. If it was like that, this would have been a no-brainer. Although, admittedly, the touchscreen on that one is a lot nicer because it flips all the way back, and this one's just a regular laptop. Premium design. I absolutely love this thing. This is MacBook levels of quality, if not even slightly better, because the design is better. And having a 13-inch is just so portable. I love carrying this thing around in a bag. And if you are buying it, you're going to love carrying this around as well. Screen is still big enough for anything you want to do. And because it is a 4K OLED, at least mine, you are going to have a fantastic time with it. And you're going to have no issues whatsoever. It's just a matter of too many sacrifices for what you gain because of those sacrifices. 4 hours of battery life when you're doing anything sort of intensive, including 4K YouTube watching, with battery saver on, is just a deal breaker for me. And I know that the Full HD model gets about 9 hours and 43 minutes, depending on what you're doing. That's from Linus. And that, I think if you need if you need a Dell, get this. If you're looking for something else, maybe you're on the fence about getting a Dell XPS 13 Plus, then I would recommend perhaps looking elsewhere, unless you need a Dell XPS, because a full HD screen would last longer in this, but it also isn't going to be as stunning as some other laptops that would last just as long with an OLED screen on them. It's going to be tough to choose the other laptop over this one. The Dell put up a very good fight, and there's part of me that wants to hold on to it. It's a tug at my heartstrings, and God, you have no idea how much I have been sitting here going, well, okay, I'll use it on battery life for my classes, but then I have about 2 hour break in between classes, so if I want to play some video games or something like that, I'll plug it into the like a laptop bank and call it a day, and that should work. But God, it's just so hard. I'm so indecisive, y'all. I'm struggling because I love the 4K. I love the compact nature, and I just freaking love this goddamn Dell XPS 13 Plus, but it's just so narrow in terms of how good this one is, y'all. The Samsung just is so close, has better battery life, performs the same in games, performs slightly worse in terms of CPU performance, is 15 inches and weighs the same, actually slightly lighter now that I'm holding them both. Has very good build quality, copies a MacBook, which isn't my favorite. It has a Samsung logo, which makes it look like a Chromebook, and a full-on numpad for some reason, which I didn't need, but I guess people would also like. So I am still, after many days of deliberating, stuck. That's all I can say. Do I recommend the Dell XPS 13 Plus? If you are a power performance user who has money to spend and is going out the wazoo, get the 4K screen if you're not doing anything that needs battery life. Get the 1080p screen if you do have something that needs more battery life. Consider looking at other options is all I'm saying. And I am still indecisive. I hope to have a conclusion one day, but the war rages on in my heart, in my soul, and with what gives me the most joy. Did I just rub my nipple with the Samsung? I think I did. Okay, that's gonna do it for this video. I think that's a good ending spot. If you liked it, like, subscribe, do what you usually do, and as always, buy yourself something nice.